Hi y'all, welcome to my shop. If your shop is like mine, it's a work in progress. I want to take you on a tour of my shop and show you how it evolved over time. Maybe you'll get some ideas on your shop. My basement shop started as an unfinished storage space, mostly for my kids' furniture between moves, and then I started moving in some woodworking equipment as I got interested in woodworking as I was getting close to retirement. Put in some drywall, put in French cleats, put in a dust collection system, not a real good one, with PVC pipe along the floor. And I made a fill-fiend style pre-separator. Here's the front of my shop before I put in drywall. Then after I put in drywall, made a couple of cabinets, and I found that I made the drawers way too big, and they just made it hard to find things because they were too deep. Then I got into wood turning. I started with this jet mini lathe and put it toward the back of my shop. Here's my tool storage. Started off without wheels. It migrated to I have a bucket for traveling and for my second lathe. That becomes very helpful. So early on I put in a French cleat system, which really is important when you're just starting your shop before you put everything in space. And it's just two opposing pieces of plywood cut at a 45-degree angle, so one becomes a cleat. And then anything you want to stick on a wall, you just stick it up there, and you can see various things that I've added. When I got into wood turning and moved up to the Mustard Monster, my jet mini lathe kind of got relegated to the back as a dedicated buffer. One of the other things that evolved was my dust collection system. It started off with using that chair that I transformed later with a big gulp, but it got in the way. So then I put this rail on the back, and I didn't much care for it because when I want to move my headstock down, the rail worked, so it didn't work. So I added this other contraption that clamped, and then I made it into a unit that would drop in and out using pretty much the same basic design, and that works very well for me. When you have a French cleat system, you can keep building on it. Anything you want to store, you just slap it up on the wall like this caliper contraption, a couple of little fittings to hold my drills. I had a desk in here which was totally useless. Horizontal surfaces fill up with things, and I replaced it with this unit and moved my desk into my wife's cutting room as a basis for a cutting table. I took a crate on casters and made this extension of my bed so I could slide my tailstock and slide it and roll it out of the way. I made a better unit as shown here with some storage drawers. And I just line up the end of my bench and roll it out of the way. Now we're ready to turn from the end of the lathe. Here's a wall unit I made to store chucks and centers and so on, and you can see it progressing where I needed more room for calipers and more chucks, and added something from my collet system, and then built a little arrangement nearby for the various chuck jaws that I've got. I made a storage box to go into my lathe for longer tools. Didn't need it for ballast because it's pretty heavy as it is. And then I had to make room for, as I started getting into videos, for video equipment that I was using for videos and interactive remote demonstrations, including a stand to put my laptop on, my green screen, my thing hanging from the ceiling to hang my camera on. I bought a little Laguna 1216 as a teaching lathe and put that on a stand that I made. By the way, a few years ago, if you're interested, I did a collaboration with Rick Morris of Rick Turns for Two Guys, Two Shops, and how we organized our shops. So here's right outside my shop, my chainsaw area. So here's the view of the door that we just came in, my finishing area, sanding area, some storage cabinets, router table, chop saw, scroll saw, planer, joiner, dust collector. View from further down the shop looking backwards. Tote that I put all my videographic gear in. my table saw, i.e. portable workbench, drill press, wall cabinet. I have French cleats, store most things on as much as I can on the wall. My bandsaw. Now I get into the turning area. My Powermatic. Have a storage unit that I can slide the tailstock onto and roll it out of the way. It's all on rollers. Camera boom. Here's a wall storage unit where I put all the live centers and drives and spurs and everything that I tend to use. 3-in-1 bill buff on the mini lathe that I started wood turning with. Tool storage, some spare lights, more tool storage, my sharpening station, another storage unit I built, more items, and then here's a Laguna 1216 MIDI lathe on a stand that I made. I use for primarily for teaching. I'm blessed to have a basement shop, so it's heated in the winter, air conditioned in the summer. I've got a bathroom down in the basement. I've got water in the corner of my shop. My shop is approximately 15 feet wide and 45 feet long. I have additional wood storage here. I have additional wood storage here. I have a green screen you can see in some of my videos. In a few days I'm going to have a link to another video where I actually show you some recent changes to make my shop even more practical, so if you're interested, stay tuned. I want to share with you my passion for wood turning and hopefully bring you content that will teach and inspire. Your comments are important to me, so please leave them below. Y'all stay safe. Come on back here.